the IBF have ordered a purse bid for Andy Ruiz versus Filip Hrgovic. This would be a final eliminator. Now, I've seen some people out there, Deontay Wilder fans, claiming that this Hrgovic-Ruiz final eliminator situation is Eddie Hearn trying to scupper the Deontay Wilder-Andy Ruiz fight by pushing this final eliminator upon Ruiz. I've never heard such nonsense in all my life. First of all, when it comes to final eliminators, neither fighter is obligated to participate. Just because a sanctioning body orders a final eliminator and you're one of the fighters, it doesn't mean you have to take it. You can say, no thank you, and then they'll go down their rankings and pick somebody else to participate in it. So this idea that the IBF can force Ruiz into fighting Filip Hrgovic is absolute nonsense. Ruiz has done several interviews, and so has his dad, where he has openly stated that he wants to fight Deontay Wilder. That is his focus, that is his target. It's Deontay Wilder and his team who don't seem so keen on the Andy Ruiz fight. Now, there's a lot of speculation as to why this might be. Some people are saying that there's money issues, that Deontay Wilder's not happy with the purse he's being offered or the deal he's being offered by PBC for the Andy Ruiz fight. But others could argue that Deontay Wilder's just looking for an excuse not to fight Ruiz and instead wants to leapfrog such fights against top contenders and get a straight crack at the title. I tend to suspect it's the latter. Now, Deontay Wilder is a warrior, and if push came to shove, I'm sure he'd fight Ruiz, but he's got a team of people. He's got a team of handlers, and they're not just looking out for Deontay Wilder's best interest. They're looking out for their own best interest, meaning their bottom line, their bank balance. And when you've got a manager's hat on, and you've got a fighter like Deontay Wilder, who is in the evening of his days, as far as his boxing career, you're thinking, well, he doesn't have that many opportunities to make huge amounts of money anymore. So what's the point taking a risk against Ruiz, even if we think he beats Ruiz? Let's say we're 60 or 70% sure he beats Ruiz. There's still some element of risk there, and he's not going to get the kind of reward financially in that fight as he would if he faced Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury for a fourth time, and so on. So we would rather not go that route and take that risk, however small it may be. We'd rather leapfrog all that and go straight to the big money. This is what I suspect is actually going on with Deontay Wilder. He's just looking for a way to not fight Ruiz and fight a bigger name for more money instead. Or perhaps a lesser name for similar money. It's all about risk-reward, right? As I've said in numerous previous videos, I hope that Deontay Wilder is backed into a corner and that he has to fight an Andy Ruiz or one or several of the top contenders before he gets a crack at the heavyweight title, if he gets another crack at the heavyweight title. I hope that happens, because when Deontay Wilder was champion, he was a protected fighter, or even before he was champion. But when he held the WBC strap, he was given carte blanche to fight a series of less than stellar opponents. Of course, there was the Tyson Fury fights included in that, and a couple fights against Luis Ortiz. But those fights notwithstanding, his resume was really, really weak when he held the WBC heavyweight strap. And he did have opportunities to fight better fighters and turned them down. That's a fact. I don't want to see a repeat of that. I want to see Deontay Wilder actually prove himself this time and have to go through top contenders before he gets an opportunity to hold any belt. Think of guys like Joe Joyce, who are willing to step in there and take on tough opposition to get their title shot. And Deontay Wilder comes along after knocking out his sparring partner Robert Helenius and just leapfrogs them to a title shot. You guys really want to see that? I don't want to see that. And just from a matchup perspective, I think there are lots of intriguing fights that Deontay Wilder could be involved in against fellow contenders. I think the Joe Joyce fight is fascinating. The Anthony Joshua fight, of course. The Andy Ruiz fight is fascinating. The Filip Hrgovic fight is fascinating. A Michael Hunter fight would be fascinating as well. On and on it goes. So this is not me saying that I don't like Deontay Wilder and I don't want to see him fight anymore. No, I want to see him fight. I want to see him fight different styles, different people, not just continue rematching Tyson Fury in perpetuity. Anyway, with regards to Andy Ruiz versus Filip Hrgovic, because this has to be the contingency plan now for Andy Ruiz, presumably, if the Deontay Wilder fight doesn't get made. It's still a great fight. Ruiz against Hrgovic, fascinating, particularly given the trouble that Hrgovic had against Zhilei Zhang. And I say that because Zhang turned out to be quite an effective front foot counterpuncher. And what is Andy Ruiz? He's a front foot counterpuncher. He's a guy who likes to walk up on you. Now, he did switch up his style for his last couple fights against Luis Ortiz and Chris Arreola, but presumably he would go back to his old style against Hrgovic, given the enormous height and reach advantage Hrgovic has over him. Andy Ruiz likes to walk up on you, pressure you into throwing, and then either beat you to the punch or counter with extremely fast combinations. That's something which gave Hrgovic not the extremely fast combination, certainly not Andy Ruiz speed, but still surprisingly fast for his size, Zhilei Zhang combinations, which gave Filip Hrgovic so much trouble in their fight. Andy Ruiz, of course, much shorter, would have to work a lot harder to get close to Filip Hrgovic to land them kind of shots, but I still think it's an intriguing matchup, particularly if Ruiz comes in fairly decent shape and he can get those feet close to Hrgovic. Hrgovic, to my eye, doesn't have the kind of arm length that Anthony Joshua and some of the other tall heavyweights have. I'm not saying he's got T-Rex arms, but I don't think he has the arm length for some of the other tall heavyweights. He's more like a Vitaly Klitschko. Vitaly that is, was 6'7", 6'8", but he had a reach which was under 80 inches. I think it was 78 inches. That's the same reach as David Haye, who's 6'3", a much shorter man. Now, as I've explained many, many times in my videos over the years, reach and arm length are two different measurements. Reach is wingspan. So if you stretch out your arms, it is the measurement from fingertip to fingertip, from one fingertip on one hand to the fingertip on the other hand across the arms and the chest. That's the reach measurement. Arm length is measured from the armpit to the end of the fist, you see? So arm length is actually a more accurate measurement in terms of determining how long somebody's arms are rather than reach, because reach also encompasses the chest, the shoulders, and the size of the outstretched hands rather than the fists, you see? So the reach measurement can sometimes be misleading because you might have a guy who has the same reach as his opponent, but he's actually got shorter arms because he may have a broader chest, longer fingers, etc. In any event, to my eye, as I say, Hrgovic doesn't appear to have as longer arms as an Anthony Joshua, and therefore, will it be a bit easier for Andy Ruiz to close down the distance on Filip Hrgovic and get his shots off? Will his counters be able to connect more easily because there isn't as much distance to cover potentially? We'll have to wait and see if that fight ends up being made. But based upon what I've seen of Hrgovic, amateur, pro, WSB, he appears to have a better chin than Anthony Joshua. Now, people are going to say that doesn't really mean much because AJ's chin is terrible. I wouldn't go as far as saying AJ's chin is terrible, but it's not great. Filip Hrgovic was officially dropped by Zhilei Zhang, but that wasn't a knockdown. I know Hrgovic didn't complain, but you go look at the slow-mo replay. Zhang literally pulls Hrgovic down with his right glove on the back of his head. It's not a punch. How anyone can interpret that as a knockdown is beyond me. So as far as I'm concerned, Hrgovic has never been down as a pro. I'm not aware of him going down in the amateurs or in the WSB. And after getting off the floor from that, what I would class as fake knockdown against Zhang, he was able to take Zhang's best shots, much better shots than that pull down in the first round, bang on the chin, and not go down. So for me, I think Hrgovic has got a really solid chin based on what I've seen so far. And therefore, against Andy Ruiz, even if Ruiz is able to catch him a bit easier than he was able to catch AJ, let's say, in the rematch, maybe Hrgovic can take the shots. Maybe he won't find himself in the kind of crisis that AJ was in that first fight he had with Ruiz. Anyway, Hrgovic-Ruiz is a matchup that I like. I still prefer Wilder versus Ruiz, but this would be a good consolation prize. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about all the things I've mentioned in this video. Are you sick and tired of the mainstream mindset? Does the dogmatic conformity and pathological ignorance have you tearing your hair out in frustration? Then don't be alone. Come and join our brotherhood on Patreon. We stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. You'll gain access to my weekly topical podcast where we take more deep dives than Jacques Cousteau on an endless variety of subjects. There's also videos, interviews, live Q&As, as well as a vast back catalogue of previous episodes, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen via the Patreon app or download in high-quality MP3. Connect with myself and hundreds of other members in our Element chat group. There's no contract, no commitment, you can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a Mickey D's McMuffin. Just head to my Patreon page via the link below this video and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. I'll see you over there.